All right, welcome everyone. This is a Viper Professional Training and Support webinar. Today's date is June 18th, 2018, and this is a Monday night webinar. And the title of tonight's webinar is My Favorite Trade Setups Part 2. And as everyone knows that's been to our webinars or our live trading room, everything that we say and do at Viper Trading Systems is for educational purposes only. Futures trading, Forex trading, any kind of financial instruments trading involves risk. Therefore, there's always risk of loss. You should only trade discretionary capital, and that is money that you can afford to lose. Nothing said in this webinar, other webinars we have, our live trading room, or anything else with Viper Trading Systems should never be construed as trading or investment advice. And as always, everyone does trade at their own sole discretion. Any questions on the disclaimer? All right, if not, we're going to get started. That disclaimer takes a full minute. All right, let's go ahead and do that. Oh, by the way, for people that are here, kind of kicking the tires this week, we have that, a lot of the times. And for our members know they've got a member login. They've got their user ID and password to get into this part of our site. It's password protected, user protected. But if you just come in just wanting to kick the tires and see what Viper's all about, just simply go to our webinars, click that little link right there, and your webinar recordings. These got out of kilter a little bit. I've got to fix this. But anyway, this is my webinar from Saturday. My Favorite Trades Part 1. You'll want to watch that. Okay, if you haven't seen it, Part 2, we're going to go over some of those that were gone over before. But, it's going to be a little bit more quickly gone over on that part. Okay, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get the webinar started. By the way, Jack, on your question, is the auto box drawing for Object Trader under development? Well, it still is, as a matter of fact. And, all my programs kind of told me is give me some time. And that's what he's working on. Okay, let me go ahead and get to our little chart here. Now, first off, anybody that's been with us for any amount of time knows that I like to diagnose my charts first. Okay, diagnose your charts, because if you go against the trend, scalp only, and if you go with the trend, you can load up a little bit more. Okay, all right, so left-hand chart, Viper traders, what's the overall trend? Left-hand chart, up, there you go. What's the trend on the other chart on the right? It's down, right? Okay, now we can tell this, obviously, if you draw your lightning on your chart, you can see clearly that after, Sunday night's Russell just dropped like a stone. It took out the support under here. See these support levels right here? I mean, it took it out like a vengeance. So what are we looking for, everyone? Well, right now we're looking for shorts, right? Okay. So, right, we're looking for a retrace. Now, on this side of the chart, I think everybody can see that they even took out some previous resistance levels. And let's just draw lightning on it so you can tell for sure. But lightning says that you're kind of going up. You had a little double bottom. You took out the high, so it established that. You took out this high, so it established this, right? So we can draw on our charts like so and like so. And we're pretty much ready, to trade these two charts, right? Okay, now let me go over my favorite trades real quick for somebody that wasn't here on Saturday, for instance. Bear with me just 1 second. We'll bring it up here. I went ahead and put this in white, and we'll probably even get it up on the website. I may even add a few trades to it before we do it, but I put it in a white background with black letters, so it might be a little bit easier for people to print. Printing a solid black background is not real good on printers. It uses up that black ink cartridge pretty heavily. Okay, but favorite trades are mid-band, but by rules. Okay, ratchet up or down before you take these mid-band trades, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Phantom only by the rules and after a trend change. Okay, minor box opens, we love those at the CL market all the time. They're great trades. 100% move or more of a first thrust after retrace, that's another good trade. Trendline closes are great. I'll show you, and what trendline breaks are actually good. And This is basically a Fibonacci retrace on larger moves, like 50 ticks or more. You want to be looking for, those 50% pullbacks, 38% pullbacks on the really large moves. And even 61.8, you can look for that too, and then just start getting ready to wait for that initial break, pull back, get a higher low, and off you go, or vice versa on a short. Okay, support or resistance in chop, and those predictors will help you with that, because you just simply wait for a predictor and you kind of box it in. One of my favorite trades too is deep probes. A deep probe is different than a phantom trade. It just means that in a long trend, your bars turn red, and in a downtrend, your bars turn blue, and you're looking for those rollovers and roll up. Okay, these pullbacks into stealth, or line 6 or line 2, I'll go over that tonight. I don't think we went over that very extensively on Saturday. We will. Okay, now another thing, let me go ahead and go to a different chart here. Everybody that's been with us for a while knows that we go by lightning. Lightning is just simply a word we coined the phrase, so to speak, because it looks like a lightning bolt. Some people just say, well, they're swings. Well, they are, but they're also lightning. It looks like somebody got struck, doesn't it? That's why we call it that. And it gives it a little bit of individuality by us naming it what we wanted it to be named. Okay? And as long as you're stair-stepping upward, to give an example, you're going to just keep moving your stop, moving your stop, moving your stop, moving your stop. Okay? Lightning 1 is a really minor lightning. Lightning 2 is a little bit larger lightning. And lightning 3 is a lot larger lightning. Okay? And this is your overall trend right here. Okay? Let's go to one more. This one is, and you can pause your screen and everything and even take screenshots or whatever you need to do when you watch this video. But, drawing on your charts is super critical to making money in trading. You can use wedges, ellipses, box-in trades, horizontal lines, rays. You can mark on your charts with arrows, and you can even draw channels. Okay? And always determine if you are trending or chopping with those horizontal lines and those trend lines. You must know what the minor trend, secondary trend, medium trend, and even longer term trend are. Those are the 4 trends. Okay, so just memorize this. I'm not going to go over this. I've got videos on this, and this really will show you exactly how to use these type of, just drawing on your charts. If you don't draw on your charts, you're more than likely not making money unless you're seeing it and don't need to draw on the chart. Okay, so now we have 2 charts here, and I just quickly didn't have time to do anything except download some data, and I just put it around midnight. It's a little after midnight, I guess, okay, because I'd started to show even trading on Sunday, but I thought, nah, this is more about the type of trades that we take. So we're going to just simply, start where we are, okay? So looking at your, let's go back here. Looking at this right here, what trade are we kind of looking for on the left-hand chart if you took time to look at it? Isn't it actually this one? And isn't the other chart basically this one? And if it goes higher and gets a blue bar, it'll be more like this one. But it's gonna fall into one of our rules. Just watch and see what actually happens. Basically, you could see that you've actually got a thrust retrace. You're kind of hitting resistance. You've got resistance over here to the left, like already been there. This is your resistance right here that they don't want to go past that if they're going to continue heading down. And so couldn't we draw a trend line on this chart? Didn't get to show that one on Saturday, but I do like trend lines, and you can do that with Object Trader. Just pick the wedge, and we'll go ahead and pick a wedge. We're going to do a Ninja Ray. This is your Ninja Ray. That's what makes your wedge. And then we'll just simply draw it. And I personally like a little bit more of a touch plus instead of, something like that, for instance. We're looking for short, right? Unless we start breaking up, and then we may look for longs, but right now we're not. This chart, though, we are. Everybody see that? So we've hit a phantom. Everybody see that? That's a phantom. Now, if you're new in the room today and you don't know what a phantom is, let me take a moment to tell everybody, because, Charles in the room today had mentioned it's not one of his favorite trades. It is my favorite trade, one of my very favorite trades. Okay, but the deal is with a phantom, you've got to know what it is and don't fall for the more shallow retraces, unless you know where your previous resistance or support is, and you've got a good shot at, say, 10 or 12 ticks at least. Okay, so right off the bat, let me show you what a phantom actually is. Okay, anytime you get a trend change, this was a real good trend change, wasn't it? Okay, trend change from long. Okay, well, this one actually trend change. Short to long, this is a phantom. That's a 10-tick trade too, any way you slice it. Okay, this is what we call into mid-band or predictor, but we're going to talk about phantoms for a minute. This is a phantom long. You're looking for your between line 1 and line 2. Now, the way our lines work on our dynamic trend here is this is line 0, this is line 1, this is line 2, the yellow shadow is line 3, line 4 is the midband, line 5, line 6, line 7, and line 8. So it's 0 through 8. Okay? When you're looking for a long, you're looking for between 2 and 1, or even if it touches 1. Okay? That's a good phantom type trade. You box it in, that would have been at least a scalp, probably 10 ticks. Okay? Let's look for another phantom. You go from long to short. Now, I'm not saying there's not trades here too, but what I'm going to show you is there's this phantom trade, because I see trades through here obviously too. You got resistance right across there and you can get a good trade. But let's look at the phantom. Short, you're looking for the first phantom, and there was your first phantom right there. Everybody see that? Line 6 to line 7 is your short. Okay? So could you box this trade in? And the answer is yes. Okay? That's a good phantom type trade. Now you simply don't take another phantom trade unless you ratchet down. Okay? If you ratchet down, you could look for another one. All right, let's see what it did. No ratchet down. There's a little ratchet down, right? Okay? Now your second phantom, keep in mind, is a little bit more of a risky type trade, but not as much when it ratchets down, okay, on a short. So this is your first phantom. This one will be your second phantom. Let's see if we get something. There, that was a deep bar probe there. Now this one's not a phantom anymore. See that? Turn green. You're not a phantom, but if you box it in, you never got a short. So now you're looking for what? You're looking for a long phantom. It's down here. Let me just draw the box and you'll see that it'll actually end up right about where you think it should. See there? Kind of came down to it, got that trade. Now, you don't go again. Now that's between line 2 and line 1 right there. That's what we still consider a phantom right there. It touched it. Okay? So that's a phantom. Now you go to short again and you're looking for the blue one. All right? There's your phantom right there. Everybody see that? And keep in mind that if you simply trade that particular trade, basically religiously, so to speak, you're gonna make some decent money. But you can't, just pick and choose. They're about 80 to 85% probability trade. And if you trade them, you're going to find that, 15 out of 100 won't work. Okay? And that's not bad. I mean, if I could get that kind of odds on playing the lottery, I wouldn't be trading. Okay, so let's look again. Now you've got your red. Let's see if we ratchet down. Nope. Okay, you're taking out phantom. Let's see, we went green. What are we looking for, everyone? What are we looking for? A phantom trade down in here, right? That's a little deep probe. That's a little deep probe. And there's your phantom. There's your phantom right there. Now, you want to trade it? We'll see if we can get, let's just try for, I don't know, 10 ticks. You want to try that? All right, so we're going to take a break of this. We're going to do like 3 contracts on Russell, and let's just go for either the bottom or we'll go 10 ticks. Let's just start with 15. We'll do the same on this one right here. So I'm going to put Object Trader on. I'm going to show you how good these particular trades are, because if you can learn to see this particular trade, you're going to make some pretty good money. Okay, now there's several ways you could trade this. You could wait for it to break this swing right here. This is a 1, 2, 3 reversal right here if this bar closes. Everybody sees that, right? See your bar down, bar up. That would be a 1, 2, 3 reversal. This would be a little bit more conservative. Okay, looking at the actual swing. But let's get it boxed in because we're getting ready to get a trade. And let's go for, and I'm going to go ahead and go to, this should do it again. We'll see if it'll kick one more set of contracts at all. And I can even move my box, by the way, live like that. Isn't that cool? That's called our little region box. Okay, let's see if we get a trade. You want to? And we're going to see if we get a trade on this one at touch plus 3. Now keep in mind, this could actually go higher or it could break my line. Either way, we're going to find out which it's going to do. Go ahead and fast forward this just a little bit. How do you know when to box the Phantom or just to take a candle break? When I box the Phantom, it seems like I'm in too late. Well, Toby, one thing about it, it's going to bounce a little bit there because that's actually, you know, engineered into the big money traders too. They know where that's at. And that's the only problem with this type of thing is that you're going to get that occasional, you know, bounce where it's quicker. Okay, now we're down $50, but we've only got 1 contract. No big deal. Okay, and we're going to add, let's just go ahead and add, and we'll even use our targets on the next ones. Okay, now always look to the left to trade the right, and what I normally do is draw on my charts, and I see a swing right there. See it? Swing. And I see a swing right here. So if we get anywhere up in here and don't take it out, then we're not ratcheting up. Okay, so let's see if we can still get something. Now, the one way, Toby, on your question, to trade the Phantom type trade is until you get really good at it, when you get a Phantom like this, always look to the left to make sure. See, you have a high here and a low here and a high here. This is a higher low, so this is a much better Phantom than if it happens to take out the support and get a Phantom. That happens occasionally. Okay, but see, this is a higher low here, so I trust this Phantom simply because I've got a high, a low, and a much higher high ratchet up, and that's a Phantom. Remember what I said about ratcheting? Ratcheting means that it's going to take out the previous swing to the left, whether it's short or long. Okay? You know, we still got our trend line, but by the way, I'd probably more than likely be shorting this little dude right up here. See it right at resistance? This is actually like a deep bar probe. See how if it kisses there, you could actually, I'll do it because I like this particular trade. I'd probably just simply sell one. See there? It just kissed resistance. Now, if it breaks my trend line, we're going to add 2 more. Okay, just like that. Okay, now another way you can trade the Phantom too, Toby, on your question, use the power meter instead. Watch that power meter as it turns green. If it turns green, we don't know for a fact it's going to, but our Phantom is still good so far. Okay, if it breaks up above this little swing right here, I'll bet that turns green. We'll see. How many of you Viper traders that have been with us quite a while, how many of you take these Phantom trades? You know, because just to give you an example, if you would have boxed it in down here, you know, I mean, let's face it, you don't always get a, yeah, with power meter. There you go, Mindy says. With power meter. Now, this is just dinking around so far, but I could go ahead and put my stop like in the middle of, you know, Phantom just in case, because if they're ratcheting up, then I expect this Phantom to hold. And if it doesn't, it's not going to kill me. Okay? Now, if I wanted to really protect this trade, I could always put my stop down here, but that's fairly fairly deep. Let me show you what you're at there. You'd basically have to put it just a little bit below it, for instance, so it wouldn't just wick it. That would be like a 19 tick stop. I don't personally like that because then you're using the larger swings. So I'll probably just kick it right in here somewhere, like right around the phantom. Okay. Let's see. Okay, we got our 3. Everybody see that? We got our 3. Let's see. We've got a swing right across here, like so. Let's just see if we can get a little bit of money on this one. Because we didn't put extra targets, so I've got no choice but just to go for one target. Anytime you do a scalp on it, you really can't go against yourself and not do a scalp because you can't split these targets up. Now we're going to probably add that to Object Trader one of these days, but in the meantime, I would be looking for a swing, and there's a swing right here, and there's a swing right here. So you might want to fade it just a little bit. See how you're up about 100 bucks or so, 120. Now watch this. Let's see. Who was asking that just a minute ago? Toby. Watch the power meter and see if it turns green. Let's just add 1 on that just for the fun of it. Just watch it turn green because I'm going to show you another trade also. See what you think of it. Okay, see how we got 2 now? Let's move a target out of the way. Let's move another one to a swing. And let's add 1 more if it does stealth. Okay, now stealth is this, well, right now it's a red line and it hadn't gotten a green line, but it may get a green line. Okay. Now remember, if I had actually done 3 contracts and gone with like 10, 20, 30, I'd have my targets out of the way. Let's see, if you buy 1 contract on RTY, wouldn't it take 1 contract out? No. You can add up to your full amount. Like on Object Trader, I've got mine set at 5. So that's the most it'll add, even if it hits targets and things. It can keep adding as far as that goes. Okay, let's see if we can get some decent coin on here. We're only up 100 bucks. To scale out of your current position, you can do that also, Mario, on your question. Now see how that power meter went green? Now let's see if we can get a stealth that goes green too, because if we do, we'll get 1 more contract added to this. Let's just leave this one on. I'm going to go ahead and double click this one so we can watch it. Now notice that what I'm showing here so far is basically, this is actually a phantom trade that we're doing on the gold. It's a phantom trade. Okay, and that can be a pretty darn good trade, by the way, if you just simply, don't think that it's going to the moon until it takes out the previous swing. You still got to look at every trade. If they double top and they pull back in, take your coin off the table. You don't have to pull them for 24 tick moves back. Okay, so let's see. We've got our favorite trade. Look at that. We're up 3. Notice we haven't gotten that 3rd contract yet, though. Stealth has not turned green. Now, stealth is actually late, in my opinion, because it's based on even slope. Okay, so when you have to have slope on a trade, to me, that's a little bit late because you still have to put your stop under here. But since we're just adding, I'll go ahead and do it. Let's move this one out of the way. We'll move this one up here to the top. And remember, what's our rule, everyone? First time phantom after a trend change. That is the first time phantom after a trend change. Okay? We can go ahead and kill this trade if you want, and then just go on to some other trades that set up. Notice that the trend line trade worked out, by the way. Let's go ahead and protect our stop just in case here. There we go. We got a stealth. Now notice, since we've just got 1 target because we did a scalp, we're just trying to get down to these lows. Okay, that's very important on that, by the way. Okay, we got it. There you go. All right, we're still in this one. Let's go ahead and tighten our stop a little bit. Let it ride underneath it just a little bit. Okay, now what's our next trade on this chart? Anybody? It's going to depend if it ratchets down. Okay, if it doesn't ratchet down, I will still look for a mid-band trade short, but I will box it in. Okay, you want to see if we can get something like that, or if we're going to ratchet down, we'll still look for it. Let's see, do you consider the yellow the trend change or going from red to green? You mean on the background or the mid-band, Mindy? I'm not following on that. Now notice we're pulling back just a little bit on gold right now, and gold's $10 a tick. So you could scale out of one if you wanted to, but if that bar closes up, I'd probably stick them out. And since we got 9 ticks, that's $270. We've only got 130 on this particular chart. So I'd probably bring my stop a little higher now, not quite under here because it hadn't broken this swing yet. If it breaks that swing, then you can trust lightning, right? And it did. See that? Now there's your lightning swing. Right across there. Nice and tight. Exit on close. Just like that. Okay? It's a pretty good way to trade, isn't it? I mean, if you think about it, a phantom trade is actually a lot better trade than a lot of times a mid-band trade, unless you're really in the stage of really ratcheting, you know, each time you break a swing, in other words. Then the mid-bands are worth their weight in gold. And I'm going to show you Russell today that we actually called and why that works out so well. Okay. Let's go ahead and take, well, we've got a swing still up here. We're going to go ahead and leave our target up there, but we do have our stop in just in case. Don't take this out, gold. Okay. You could probably, if it takes that swing out, you could put your stop right here. Everybody see that? The boxing concept is really a good way to trade. Okay, now be careful if we don't take out this top. You know, always watch for a double top. Anytime you're trading and you look to the left to trade the right, always watch for a double top. Okay, because when they haven't checked it yet, they usually check it and pull back. Now, if it blows through it, just stick with the trade. But trade like we always do, and that is with lightning swings. You know, we don't know how high this is going to go, but until it takes this out to the side, guess what? You don't have another phantom trade on the books at all. Okay, because for this to actually get another phantom trade, you would have to do something like this. You would have to ratchet up, and then you would have to pull back into like a phantom, and more than likely by then phantom would be, you know, stepped up somewhere in there. Everybody see that? So, you know, remember when you take this particular trade, this is an 80 to 85% probability trade, but it's good first time after a trend change and not good again unless it ratchets up. Okay? Not good again unless it ratchets up. And ratcheting up and ratcheting down is extremely important to your trading, because too many people take too shallow of a trade and they end up, you know, with like tiny, you know, 5-tick type moves and things like that. You don't want that. Okay, let's go ahead and protect our coin a little bit more as soon as we get a lightning swing. Just like that. Okay, everybody see that? We've actually got our stop in. We got our target set. We've got one that's sitting below the target like we want it to, and we got one as a runner. We've got two as a runner. Let's go ahead and take two if we hit that top, because you know a lot of times those tops will pull back. The boxing concept, though, you're going to find to be a really good deal. Let's see if we can get a boxing setup on anything. We're already in this trade, so we can't do it here. This one, not yet. Let's fast forward this a little bit and see if we can get something. Here's a box setting up. See it? Now, if this didn't ratchet down, what's the rule, everyone? We're not going to just take it willy-nilly if we get a bar close, or, we're going to box this, right? Okay, because if this is going to head up, you've got basically now a channel here on your Russell. Okay, you're basically from there to there. But if we get a lower high, we could still take out this low, right? Okay, so what are we going to do, team? We do this all the time. Let's look and see. We don't want to go any higher than this at all. Okay, let's take a 1, 2, 3 reversal and let's box it in. See, we got a candle up, candle up. We don't know what that candle is going to do. So that's our third candle back, isn't it? It probably will be anyway. So let's go ahead and box it. And let's see, this candle's still going up. If it goes down, though, we'll have an up and a down, and then we can simply move our little box accordingly. We're not even going to turn it on yet, okay, because we're not heading down yet. We're not rolling over yet. Look at that, double top. Let's see here. If that candle goes up, we'll be okay, but I'd probably, at this time, since that just double topped like that, I personally would move my stop literally like that. Because, when you got two contracts on, you don't want it to go here. I mean, wouldn't that be a dumb move to actually go all the way back to mid-band? Stair stepping, you could turn on lightning, but I'd probably get rid of one contract, especially with it hitting its head at our line that we drew. And see, that's actually even a lower high so far. So let's see if this candle pops up. We'll be okay. So this next trade we're going to talk about is, let's see, did I put, well, minor boxes they even count besides that CL, but this is actually going to be a mid-band trade by rules. It's not ratcheted up or down, so this is not by rules. This is a little bit more aggressive trade, but if you can box it in and you get a rollover, it is still a good trade, okay? But this is your best trade, when they ratchet up and get those mid-bands, or when they ratchet down and get those mid-bands. Okay, let's see if we can get something. All right, we got a candle trying to head down. So we have a candle up, candle down. You can even, to protect yourself, you can always say, you know what, if it rolls over, I'll even make it go there instead. See where that wick is? This is your true 1, 2, 3 reversal right here. If it closes below that box. Now, usually instead of close, I like to use like a touch plus. You could even use a touch plus like 4 if you want to, because that way it's going to break that box by 4 full ticks. Or you could do it with 2 to give an example. Or you can do it with close. Just simply set it for close if you want. All right, let's see if we get anything at all. Now remember, this is boxing. Okay, we're at a mid-band. It's trying to roll over. It has not rolled over yet. Okay, let's see if we can get anything. And by the way, are we looking for longs, Viper traders? No. Now at 8:30 in the morning, if this was to break this box, yes, I'd be looking for a long, because that's open of a market. But that's because we box in at the open of the markets, right? Okay, see why I don't like close particularly? Because now this has to close a full bar, so I'm going to set this for touch plus 2, because it is breaking my 1, 2, 3. See if we get something. Region, there's your touch. And let's go ahead and do, if it touches again, I'll add 2. There you go. See why I did that? Because it broke my box. So, I'm pretty safe on this trade, by the way. That is a boxed in trade with Viper. Okay, we'll move one of our targets out of the way. We'll put one with a swing, like right across there. We'll put another one with this swing, and we'll ride our runners, or runner, because we've got 3 targets, 2 on 1. Okay, look at that. That's going to stopped out. We're out of that trade. Everybody see that? Okay, so now what's the rule of thumb on gold? Well, if we get a mid-band trade, we can box it in, but keep in mind we have not ratcheted up yet. We may still, it may still. But if you get a mid-band trade, you're going to have to box it in. And you got to remember you got resistance up here. So make your boxes nice and small, you know, with those breaks, just like we did on this one. Okay. So let's see, that's going for mid-band, not quite by rules, but it's boxing in. I should add that to this. I think I will. I'll go ahead and add this to this because mid-band can also be by boxes instead of if it ratchets up or down. Okay, a little bit more aggressive trade, and you want to make sure you stay in the profit quite a bit, and I'd probably even tighten my stop even as we speak, something like that, because I don't want it to go back above mid-band. Okay, let's see, is there a way to use Object Trader to fire off limit orders when it breaks through an object? Toby, on your question, no, Object Trader actually fires, market type orders. And the reason for that more than anything is because, limit orders, you're going to a lot of times miss a limit order because the price never touches it. But it's always touching that box or it's closing below it and things like that. So, firing that market order is not a bad way to do it. Okay, notice how we got a pretty good little trade here so far, just exactly the way we teach it. Everybody see that? And what do? Everybody that's been with Viper for a long time? Anybody? Well, you could move that target out of the way if you wanted to, because it looks to me like it's going to go through it. But, it could also bounce up. Here's your resistance right here. Okay, so let's see if it gets it. Always, yeah, you can always protect your coin. Absolutely. Okay, now we're not going to trade gold again until to me, it busted up right here. They've not checked this right here. So I'm not going to be trading gold again until it gets down in this little sweet spot right here. Okay, so we'll watch for a trade like that, and then we'll see if we can get something. Y'all want to? Just watch that. All right. Anybody else got a particular thing they want to know about, a particular trade that we take or anything like that? Because one thing to keep in mind on these charts, when you've got like a red background and a red midband, to give an example, your deep probe is going to be a blue bar. When you've got an uptrend and an up middle band, you're going to be a red bar on that. That's why we took that trade over here called a phantom trade. Okay, that's coming back. You're right at resistance. Needs to roll. Didn't quite get down to the bottom. I hate that when they do that. But when they do that, what they're doing, they're trying to just take people out, but we watch our resistance levels. I drew the line on the chart ahead of time, and we'll see if it'll roll over. And by the way, if you want to, you can even see if it'll draw a little box again, like a third bar, like that or something, and see if you can get even adding to it as far as that goes. It's up to you. See right there, if it pops out now, that'll add 2 contracts. See if it does. Now you could even box it like this, like that. Okay, stop still at mid-band, which is fine. Pretty good on the trade. See how they just ding around and everything, That's the way they always do in trading, but you've got to trust your swings. Ticks apart instead of 6 ticks. I'm not following on that, John. Ticks apart instead of 6 ticks. How'd you come up with 48 for your levels versus, say, 64, which would make each line 8 ticks? Oh, I see what you mean. Well, basically, we trade 4-range charts, so that particular type of setup works extremely well. But we do have an indicator in your package that you can change this to 64 if you want. I won't take the time to show that tonight, but I could show that anytime somebody wants to see it. Basically, what you do, see this particular one is 48 ticks from top to bottom, bottom to top. Okay, but we do have one called Object Trader Guidance Lines. This particular one, I won't put it on, but I'll show you how it works. You can actually choose, for instance, that's a band range from top to bottom of 25. That's a 50 tick. Okay. If you wanted it to be 64, you just change that to 32. That's how easy you can do that. You can even change the, all the things on it, the the periods of it. You can change even the, basically this is like a average true range type setup here. And you can even change the little shadow area even if you want to. And you can even make it do your backgrounds. We developed this one a long time ago. That's a good trade. Does anybody remember a trade that we called on Russell when the room opened? Let me show you a little bit more how to trade that type of thing also. Okay, I'm going to just close this out, and we're not in this one. I'm going to fast forward. We opened the room at 7:55, and the regular market opens at 8:30. I'm going to let this go really fast just for a few minutes. And there's 8:19, there's 8:25, there's 8:30. Okay, so let me ask a quick question just by what I taught a little while ago. What's the trade on this chart? Anybody? Phantom. Is that a phantom trade? Yep. Now, at the open of the market, you're going to have to be really careful because they can move around pretty quick. But that is a phantom trade. Is it first time into after change? Let's see. Came here, that wasn't a phantom. Came here, that is a phantom. So let's see if it works. Could it stop us out? Absolutely it could. We'll see. We shall see. I'm going to just try to go, since it's at the open, let's just go for a mid-band type trade. This is looking a little iffy. Now we got a green background. I'd be a little bit more leery of this now. Okay, but let's stick it out, and I'll put my stop right there, and we'll just let it do its thing. It is a phantom. That is a lower high so far. Let's see if we can get to mid-band. Now keep in mind that a phantom type trade, see there's your little box again if we want to add to that. We'll just go to mid-band. Phantom trade. See the background? Well, the background changed to green, but this is rose colored. This one also does qualify for a phantom. That also hit a predictor. There you go. Let's go ahead and protect it though, simply because I don't trust sideways as much, so I'm going to scalp it. Everybody see how you can trade that phantom trade right there? Let's fast forward it and see if we can get something here. Bingo. Okay. Now, what is that particular trade that just set up on it just then? Well, that's actually a mid-band trade, but it's not a mid-band trade. The reason I'm saying that is because that is, if you take that trade, you're going to have to take it, and you would have already been in it. Okay. But what trade are we looking for? Anybody? At the open of the market? Let's see if we can get a deeper one at all. There we have a high, a low, a lower high. And let's see. You've still got a short background so far, but keep in mind this is the open of the market too, so they can move them any way they want to move them. Okay, let's let it football around just a few minutes. This is just right after the open. A lot of times you can wait 4, 5, 10 minutes. Just let it do its thing. And 5 minutes into it. Is that a short, anybody? Well, you know, technically you could, but if you do it at the open, you're going to usually get whipsawed around. Now, what trade is this right here? This is actually a phantom trade, but it is also only the green background. The midband didn't change. Now, we do teach this particular trade, though, because this midband being sideways, you can consider it long or short. Okay, so let's see, if we don't take this out and we happen to bounce, what are we going to actually do? Anybody? Well, let's see if we can get something. There's a 1, 2, 3. So far, that candle's going up. That candle went up. We need one to go down. Let's go ahead and move it out of the way just for a second. Nope, not going to take it. Okay, we'll do it again. See how I moved that out of the way? Because I just couldn't get it in time. So I'm going to see if I can get something else. We don't have it turned on anyway, so see if we can get a boxed in trade. That was a good box, by the way. I just didn't get it turned on. It came close to a phantom, but it wasn't quite a phantom. But keep in mind that you can box these things, you know, most any time, by the way. You know, could you take, for instance, like a 10-tick trade with a break like this where it just kissed resistance? Sure. But one of my favorite trades is where you can actually box it in and get those rollovers. Let's see if we can get something. Still only 10 minutes into it. Got support right here. Got support right here. By the way, if you remember being in the room this morning, we actually called this little trade. But I'm going to show you the safe way to take it and also an aggressive way to take it. Power meter, if it goes green, you could take the trade. If that goes green. Not yet. It's got to close. Not green yet still. So it's going to have to take out that swing right there. We'll see if we can box it instead. You want to box it? Let's go ahead and box it. We'll go ahead and just take a break. Let's just take a break of that right there even. There you go. You're in. Does anybody remember this trade in the room this morning? We boxed this trade. I'm going to show you how we boxed this trade this morning. And keep in mind, this is a little bit of, you know, that I knew it was going to happen. And I apologize for that because this back here we don't know about because I'm not up at 3 o'clock in the morning. But over here, we did box this trade in the room. Remember, we had this boxed right here. Like, let me get this out of the way. Just one sec. Let me get it out of the way totally for a minute. We had it boxed like this. And we had it boxed. Yeah, everybody remembers that? Rather than a stinking breakout trade. Because wasn't it better down here than all the way up here? Absolutely. Okay? Now, keep in mind that you do have resistance right across here. So if you do want to actually add when it goes up there, you certainly could. You can even box in a 1, 2, 3 reversal at midband. See if we get something on that. And you can even add to it if you wanted to. Now remember, I've got it set at 5, so I can't go over 5. 3 contracts plus 3 is 6, but it's only going to go 5 because Object Trader already knows it's only going to go 5. There you go, there's 5. Okay, where could you put your stop, everyone? I see a swing over here to the left, like so. And probably just because it's so close to the open, I would probably protect it. And then if you remember right, you got a monster move on this thing on Russell. Now, by what I've been teaching for the last 45 minutes, what kind of trade are we looking for, everybody, that's been with us? I mean, this thing can go to the moon before it does it, but you got to know that your next trade is midband or deeper. But you can always wait for it to start ratcheting back the direction that it was heading. Watch what I'm talking about here, because we called this trade also in the room. And this is another trade that we teach vigorously, is a mid-band trade. Anybody remember this monster? Could you actually ride several contracts? You probably don't want to ride 5. But you could always, let me show you something else you can do. You can also do this. See where that power meter is green? I can actually take off 2 or 3 even if that happens to go red. If it happens to go red. Let's see if it does at all. That looks like a pretty good thrust, by the way. See if we get any kind of pullback at all where we can get a lightning to take some off. Now you will now if you take out this little swing. There you go. Just took some off. See how easily that can work on scaling? If you're using multiple contracts for running, I use this 2-bar trailing. You could do that. We've actually thought about putting that into Object Trader, as a matter of fact. But let me show you what you're also looking for when you're trading. See this predictor right here? Now, we're looking kind of at a trade, a little sweet spot. This is actually where we were calling this trade in the room this morning. Now, watch what happens. Does that look like that came right down to that line that we drew right there? Anybody? And could you use like the power meter or box it in or a trend line? I mean, we've got so many ways to trade this. It's unreal. Trend line trade. Happens to break above my trend line, touch plus like 2. I'll add 2. And of course our stop, you could easily keep bringing up. If you're running like this is running today, you could always put it even just under mid-band. You know, if you've only got 2. Now, if you got like 5, I'd probably put it tighter than that. Now, watch how this particular trend line will do. This is another one of my favorite trades. Don't know how the PM trade works on the fly. Oh, it works good on the fly. See how that went green? That would have added those 2 contracts to it. The trend line did the same thing, obviously. We've got some good tools. You know, the one thing about here at Viper Trading Systems, we've definitely got some pretty good tools. Did you click PM in on the fly? You can. You want to just add, for instance, if power meter 2 goes off. Let's take 2 off and do that. We'll just sell 2. And I'll turn on PM. See, PM1's already green, so you can only use this one. It's red. So we could do PM2 long, and let's just fast forward this to see if PM2 goes green. If it goes green, it'll fire 2 contracts. There you go, you're green. Stop would be where? Well, you got support right down here. See it right where my line is? There you go. See how good these tools can be? This is, again, some of those favorite trades right back here. You know, the ways we take the trade, this is the trades themselves, but the ways we take the trade can be based on PMs. You can base them on regions, which are your boxes. You can even use bar close. You can use predictors. You know, the predictor type trade is a good trade, especially in chop. You can use sniper trades, stealth trade. What if we weren't even in a trade? Anybody? Let's just do a stealth trade. Let's just say, you know what? I'm just walking in here for the day and I'm going to do a stealth trade if it happens to fire a green stealth. Now keep in mind you don't want to go short because you could get a red stealth, but you're in a long trend. You can also turn that off if you want to. Let's see if we can get a stealth. I'm going to close this though, and we'll just go with the stealth only. Power meter went green again. Stealth's going to be a little bit later. It's more of a breakout trade. There you are. That's a stealth trade. Okay? Are your predictors determined by a certain tick distance or support and resistance from? Well, basically, John, on your question, the predictors are actually looking at these micro swings, and they're also looking at the Fibonacci numbers. They're looking at retracements, extensions, all of that. Isn't a PM trade the same entry as a box trade? Pretty much, John, except that you can, for instance, you could have entered on this right here when it touched that predictor. That's something that we've got built into it also. Now, let me show you another one of my favorite trades too. And this is this trade right here. This trade right here. Because you don't want to just be left on the sidelines, but you don't want to chase something either. This trade right here, if it comes into stealth, for instance, and breaks stealth, a lot of times you can just add on like that bar right there. This is a good area right here to box. Let's see if we can get it even higher. Let's just see if it goes higher, and we'll see if we can get a line 6 trade. That looks like a good one right there, by the way, where we just got in. Now, let me ask everybody a quick question. If you were trading this with your real-time money, okay, and you see trades set up all the time and you could use our software, wouldn't you think they could turn into some pretty good trades? Because let me show you something here just real quick. We're going to go, let's see, we had a yellow bar here. Okay, we haven't had another yellow bar since, but we did ratchet up. So guess what? If you weren't even in the market just yet, could you be looking for a trade right down in this little sweet spot? And the answer is yes. Now, keep moving it up because the mid-band's moving. Let's see if we can get another trade. We'll see. We're looking for what type of trade, Viper traders? Now, keep in mind I'm flat because I flattened it on purpose. What I'm looking for is a retracement trade or this break of line 6, which I just called out just a minute ago. But let's see if we can get a sweet mid-band type trade after a ratchet up. Now, real quick heads up for everybody. What would it take to take this thing to the downside right now? That's another trade I want to teach you tonight before we wrap. Look at your lightning swings. Absolutely. Somebody just said that. So let's look at Russell. And without all the noise on the chart, where do you think that more than likely, if Russell was to break down at all, let's see where they're at right now first. Okay, they're all the way up there, right? This is a lightning 3 swing. And this is a lightning 3 swing. So I've always got in my head, just in case something happens, that I might even be wanting to go short later on. Okay, but what trade am I looking for right now? Anybody? We're still looking for this mid-band trade. Okay, and we don't have it yet. Okay, let's see if we can get something. Man, this thing really moved, didn't it? See if we can get a mid-band trade. And I'm going to put region. We'll put a region down at mid-band. We don't want to go any lower than here. And what we're going to do is see if we can get a mid-band trade. Now this has done a lot of movement. So if I do a mid-band trade, what kind of trade is it, everyone? Boxed in, right? See your box? Conservatives here, aggressives here. Conservative, aggressive. Touch plus. Let's do touch plus. Let's do touch plus 2. That's a little more aggressive. Okay. Let's see if we can get something. And by the way, when you've done this much like this, if you want to just scalp this thing, you certainly can. Keep in mind, you could just, well, we've already done it. You could just go for this top right here. Okay. Because when they've moved this much, you've got to realize that they could easily double top up here. okay? And we'll see. Let's see if we get something. I'm going to go ahead and add if it takes out that swing. See if it does something here. May take us out first. We'll find out. I'm going to go ahead and tighten my stop to mid-band. And we're going to add, and we're going to just literally take all of our profit like that. We just got 4. And it looks like we're going to be okay on that one too. See how to use those boxes and everything on this? You know, how easy. Now that was a little bit later than I even like to get in. I like to get in a little bit earlier than that because it came right down on top of this support right here. See it? That's when I pretty much punch the button. But you got to be careful because you want to make sure that, you know, it doesn't go any lower, but your stop could be here. Okay, it looks like we're going to get our trade. Okay, real quick, what's the rule on mid-band trades? Well, it hadn't ratcheted up yet, has it? That's making me a little nervous that that could be double topping. Let's just give it a little bit more wiggle room. Hopefully it'll take that top. There we go. Maybe. Maybe. There you go. All right, let's see if we can get another trade. Now, if this ratchets up, we're looking for one more mid-band trade, right? If it doesn't ratchet up, what are we looking for? We're looking for a pullback in the mid-band, but we're going to box it. Okay, let's see what happens. If it ratchets up, okay, no ratchet up. Support is right here. Support is right here. Box it in. Third candle back for right now. Let's see if we can get something. And we're going to go 2. And by the way, if it goes deeper, I'll move my box. There you go. Just got you another trade. See how you can box those in like that? Now keep in mind, if you're an aggressive trader, when it touches that support level right there, just hit the button. I'm showing you how to box it, but to be truthful about the matter, I'd be grabbing that trade right there. And then with a real tight stop, just in case they close below it. Let's see, what swing strength are used there? On which one, John, on your question? On the Lightning, these? Yes, the Lightning. This is a single swing strength. This is 2 swing strength. This is 15. And this is 12 range chart with a 5 swing strength. Everybody see how cool and easy this is to do? Now let me ask you a quick question. If this is all she wrote, by the way, and this is looking like it's tripling up here, you've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 thrusts. Okay, so 1 thrust, 2 thrusts, 3 thrusts, 4 thrusts, right? Always be watching it when it gets to 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, because a lot of times that's pretty much over. Okay, so if something happened, now we closed the room at 10, so, you know, basically there's nothing on this chart that, you know, we any of us saw or anything like that. But I could tell you this, that if I was looking at this chart, you know, with this going on right here, I would probably even be watching for a break of this. Because Lightning 3 is a good area to watch for any kind of breaks. Let's see if it did it. Took out the top though. Let's see, it ratcheted up a little bit. Look at that. Breaks Lightning 3. Now with that kind of a move up, this gets to our next trade real quick. And this, and I'll wrap real quick because I know I'm 5 minutes over, but let's look at the fib number on this. Okay, we had a thrust, a retrace, thrust, retrace. Let's go from down here. That's 38% right there. What do y'all think? What says the team? Oh, it could definitely go a lot lower, keep in mind. It could go to 50%. It could go even lower than that, right? So since it is red, what are we looking for? We're looking for first time in the mid-band, right? You want to see if it gets it? I've taught this all night, so hopefully it does. There's your thrust. By the way, wouldn't we have gotten a nice trade if we shorted that? There's your mid-band trade. Look at that. Look at that. Mid-band trade. I didn't take it because I got this thing going 500 times, but you can clearly see that this software works. That's a mid-band trade first time after a trend changes. And is that a good trade, anybody? And the answer is yes. When will this, if it decides to go back up, when will it decide to go back up? It looks like it's breaking up now to me. We'll see. You can box it. Breaks that. You want to take it for the fun of it? Let's just take it for the fun of it. Broke that just like this broke. And see where it went green. Now, what's our next trade on this chart? Now, that was a little bit more of an aggressive trade, and it looks like it may even stop me out. It's fine if it does. It did. Okay. There's another trade, by the way. Isn't that beautiful that that's set up at mid-band? Mid-band rollover right here. Thrust down, you box this one in too, and that one got a little trade, but then it broke, so you're out. Isn't that a beautiful mid-band trade? First time after trend changes. And that's what you're looking for all the time. Okay? Well, we'll go ahead and wrap for now. I'll just go put this back on just for everybody to see it. Just try to remember these particular trades because these can become your favorite trades too, and they really do work. Now, when you play this thing at 500 times, I got it back down to 1 now, but when you play this at 500 times, you're just going to watch it. But, you know, play some time with market replay even, and watch how the charts actually react. Mid-band trades, phantom trades. You know, first time into phantoms after a trend change. Didn't we say that works? First time into phantom after a trend change. Didn't that work? First time into phantom after a trend change. Didn't that one work? After a trend change. Didn't that one work? I mean, they're just all over the place. And if they don't get one, like, see, here's a short here, and you had a phantom, but it never fired. Because if you boxed it in, let's say you were watching this trade right here. Let's see, where'd my phantom go? Just 1 second. Where'd you go, phantom? It was over here. Let's see. That's a good phantom right there, by the way. I think this was the next one. Let's see. Yeah, this sit right here. I accidentally hit the button on my chart. But see, let's say that you were playing this in real time. And you said, you know what? Gary says when you get a mid-band that's green or a long color that you're looking for first time into phantom. But what's the rule? The rule is it has to start stair-stepping back down or box it in. Did this one box in? There's your candle up, candle down. You've got a little candle here. I even go back one a lot of times so I don't get faked. Did you get that trade? No. You didn't. See, so even though this is a true legitimate phantom, it never fired. Okay? And a lot of times, by the way, when they start breaking up like that, you don't really want to chase it. You want to wait for the retracement. Okay? Retracement's going to get you a better trade. All right. Ninja replay function. No, Robert S. I'm actually using market replay that I bought a few years ago. Okay, did I miss any questions at all? This will be posted for everyone, and thank you very much for coming. I think you're going to find tomorrow morning, you know, when you get to the end of the day, for instance, let's just go to the end just real quick, and let's just see what the trade setup's going to be. There's Russell right there. There's 1:30 in the afternoon. Look at that. Monster mid-band trade. Broke support, didn't it? That was a little fake, but it boxed. Hey, first time into basically after a trend change. Did that actually work? The trade actually worked, yes. Now this is right at 3 o'clock. So now let me ask a quick question. If you were trading this, what type of a trade would you be looking for? Went from short, and to me, that wasn't really too much short to begin with, but let's just say that you happen to have taken, I don't know. But aren't you looking for a mid-band type trade on this? Anybody got a Russell chart? Did it actually get down to a mid-band or did it break? It looks like it's breaking to me right here. Let's see if it holds support. I think I've run out of data to begin with. But if you were trading this and it happens to take out mid-band, you're looking for a first time into Phantom. But if it breaks this right here, this is above Phantom. So I'd probably be shorting that little puppy when it breaks this right here. Oh, it went down, did it? Okay. Well, then if you actually drew a trend line or something, you'd probably already be short. Something like that. Yeah, you might be short. There's another swing right there that you could short. But this is your lightning 3 swing. And if it broke that, I would definitely short that little dude. But you can also look and see if it came back to mid-band and rolled over, and I bet it did. All right. Thanks, everyone. Hope you enjoyed it. And we will do this again tomorrow morning. And just remember, at the open of the market, that they're a little faster, and these boxes at the open are really good, but you got to know what you're doing. All right. See everybody in the morning. Thanks. BB, on your question, see, market replay needs to be treated just like, oh, I understand that. But keep in mind that even on market replay, you could still teach yourself how to see the trades, not necessarily to take them, but you can also, watch, for instance, when it breaks support, when it breaks support, when it breaks support, could you short those and get 10 ticks? Yes. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Hope you enjoyed it. See you in the morning.